Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today marks the birth anniversary of Luc Montagnier, born on August 18, 1932. And let me tell you, his life story, it doesn't read like your typical dry scientific biography. It's actually a lot more like a high-stakes scientific thriller. We're going to unpack the incredible duality of a man who is literally responsible for one of the 20th century's most brilliant discoveries, but who somehow ended up tangled in the 21st century's most baffling controversies.
So this brings us to a really fascinating central mystery. How exactly does someone who won the absolute highest honor in science, the Nobel Prize, eventually alienate his peers and champion what the scientific community overwhelmingly calls pseudoscience? It's wild, right? Well, to understand the fall, we really have to look at the rise.
Born in central France, Montagnier started out as this incredibly dedicated virologist. His early lab work actually laid the foundation for some massive global health breakthroughs. He rose through the ranks from the Institut Curie all the way to the prestigious Pasteur Institute. The guy was an absolute master of retroviruses. He even developed specialized culture mediums just to study them. He really was an undisputed expert in his domain.
And his ascent to the absolute pinnacle of science. It was rapid and, honestly, pretty dramatic. Back in 1982, he was asked to look into this mysterious new syndrome. Within just a year, Montagnier and his team successfully isolated HIV. Now, this triggered a huge, actually pretty bitter dispute over the discovery with the American scientist Robert Gallo. The fight for credit and patent rights got so intense that it literally required a 1987 sit-down between French President François Mitterrand and U.S. President Ronald Reagan to settle the whole shebang. But ultimately, in 2008, Montagnier won the Nobel Prize in Medicine.
But here is exactly where the paradox begins. On one hand, you've got rigorous life-saving science. The meticulous isolation of HIV. But on the other hand, his later years were defined by these highly criticized, completely unverified theories. It is just stunning to think that the exact same mind that rigorously isolated a microscopic retrovirus later pivoted to claims that, quite frankly, completely baffled his former colleagues.
Take 2009, for example. This was just a year after his Nobel win. Montagnier proposed an experiment that completely defied the established laws of physics. He called it DNA teleportation. Get this, he claimed that if you dilute HIV DNA in water until practically nothing is left, it emits these low-frequency signals. He then recorded these signals as a basic 6-second wave audio file, emailed it to Italy, and claimed that playing the sound over pure water allowed them to reconstruct the original DNA. Yeah. His peers were absolutely flabbergasted. Biologists started calling it pathological science, pointing out that literally zero independent research has ever been able to support it.
And the teleportation claim? That was really just the beginning. His later career escalated into this full-blown scientific rebellion. In 2010, he stunned 60 of his fellow Nobel laureates by publicly validating homeopathic dilutions. By 2012, he was keynoting anti-vaccine conferences. And then, during the COVID-19 pandemic, things went even further. He promoted heavily debunked theories claiming the virus was a man-made HIV vaccine attempt, and even stated that the COVID vaccines were driving new viral variants. Obviously, the broader virology community strongly rejected all of this.
So, as you can imagine, this brought the scientific community to a breaking point. The outrage really peaked in 2017 when 106 academic scientists published an open letter directly addressing him. They basically said, "We, academics of medicine, cannot accept that one of our peers is using his Nobel Prize status to spread dangerous health messages outside of his field of knowledge." Feeling attacked and facing a serious dry-up in his funding, Montagnier actually fled France for China, claiming he was trying to escape what he called intellectual terror.
A lot of observers point to his later life as a textbook case of something called the Nobel disease. It's this super fascinating phenomenon where extreme, world-changing achievement in one specific area totally fails to protect a person against irrationality in other areas. It seems like, emboldened by that ultimate validation, some brilliant minds just start embracing pseudoscience outside their real expertise. It's actually a pretty powerful reminder for all of us. Exceptional intelligence in one single domain doesn't grant you total immunity from getting things completely wrong.
So as we mark his birth anniversary today and reflect on his passing in 2022, we're kind of left to ponder a really tough question. How exactly do we weigh the legacy of a mind that was capable of both profound truth and profound error? He co-discovered the virus that causes AIDS, literally saving countless lives. And yet, he spent his final years using that hard-earned prestige to validate junk science. So, is it possible to separate the scientist from the science? We're going to leave you to think about that one.
Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning what you learned.